All right, I just woke up from a power nap, and I've got an extra large coffee ready to go here. I hope you're ready for tables here as well. I don't want to give you the impression that creating tables is a total drag, but it is a bit of a pain in the neck. And this is where an application like Dreamweaver really comes in handy. Inserting a table in Dreamweaver, if you've never done it before, is as simple as choosing Insert Table. You fill out your rows and columns, hit OK, and boom, you're done, right? But here, we have to meticulously code our table. There's actually going to be 3 elements at play here, at least 3 elements: a table, the table row, and the table cell itself. And I'm going to try and break it down here for you and kind of walk you through exactly how to piece all this together. And I'll show you a billion attributes here as well. But here's the basics, anyway, of setting up a table. I want to give you sort of the basic structure for a table, and then we'll kind of take it from there. So what you'll need to do is you'll need to find a spot on your page somewhere where you want to go and insert a table. I'm going to insert my table after the paragraph that precedes, or that follows, Charlottetown. So right in here, in fact, I'm going to give myself some room so you can see exactly what I'm typing in here nice and clearly. All right, so here's the basic structure for a table. The first element for a table is the table element. So I'm going to type in table inside angle brackets, and then I'll just move my cursor down and I'll go and close my table, just like that. Hopefully that's all good. And then inside the table element is where I want to insert all of my rows and columns and all that good stuff. So what I want to do here with you, the table that I want to create, is going to be just a really simple, basic, I guess what we could call a data table, where we want to insert some numbers. And I'm going to set mine up to be 3 rows by 3 columns. So sometimes, by the way, what I'll even do is, if I have to hand code a table, I might even draw it out on a scrap piece of paper, how many rows I need, how many columns I need, all this kind of stuff, before I get to this point. But in any regard, we have our table element, and then what I have to do is I have to define each table row using the TR element. So I'm going to type in open angle bracket, TR, close angle bracket, open angle bracket, /TR, close angle bracket. And I said I wanted a table that was 3 rows by 3 columns, so I essentially have to repeat this 3 times, right? And again, this is where copying and pasting comes in handy, something like this, right? But now, here's where it starts getting a little bit tricky. Our third element for our table cells, you would think that TC would be the element for a table cell, but it's not actually. It's TD for table data. And the table data element is going to arrive or appear inside the TR element. So again, kind of breaks down here a little bit. So, I'll again try and space things out a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. So inside the TR element, I'm going to go open angle bracket, TD, close angle bracket, open angle bracket, /TD, close angle bracket. All right, so that's one cell right there. That's a table cell. I know it's hard to imagine, but now I said I wanted 3 rows and 3 columns, right? So we don't have a table column element. How we specify columns is we specify them using table cells. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece of code here and copy it and then paste it 3 times, something like this. And again, I'm trying to space it out so that it makes a little bit more sense visually for you here inside your video. So imagine these are 3 cells here. Imagine that's our 3 columns there. And I want 3 rows of 3 cells. So essentially what I need to do is take all of this, and again, I'll copy it and I'll just replace this here like that. So there's column 1, column 2, and column 3. Does that make sense? Hope so here. All right, so that is the basic structure for a table. I guess it wasn't too bad, but now if we went and saved our page, let's go and do this. I'm going to save, and then I'm going to go back to my browser and refresh. And if I go and look at my table, there's nothing there, right? Because there's nothing inside the table. There's no width on the table. There's really no nothing really to format or control our table. So let's do a couple of quick things here. I'm going to throw in a couple of quick attributes for my table element. So what I'll do is I'll click inside there at the end of the tag there and put in a space. And I'm going to type in border equals 1, something like that, of course in quotes, and then space. And then I'm also going to throw in a width as well. So width equals, now with the width, I can use pixels or percentage. Remember we talked about this way back when we were talking about horizontal rules, and I showed you that if you use a percentage, like if I use, say, 75%, then the size of the object, in this case a table, is determined by the size of the browser window, right? So I can use a percentage or I can use a fixed pixel width, like I could go 500 px or something like that, right? So let's see how things look here. I'm going to save this up and go back to the browser and refresh. All right, there's my table, but it doesn't really look like a table, does it? It's all kind of collapsed, and you can sort of make out your cells in there. You can definitely see the 3 columns. So really, we should have some content inside our tables. So I'm just going to throw in, again, some quick dummy content just to give you an idea here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off in the first row here of the table. First cell of the table, I'm going to drop my cursor right inside that first cell there, and I'm going to type in item. And then I'll stick in, I'll stick my cursor into the second cell there, and I'll type in quantity. And then the third cell, I'll type in price. Item, quantity, and price. And you should get something like that. Okay, there we are. And let's see, I'm going to type in, I need some items here. So this would be the second row, first cell. I'm going to type in Plasma TV. And for a quantity, we need 2 of those. And the price, I'm going to put in $900. Save and refresh. I'm completely making this up off the top of my head, by the way, as I go. So you can see how things are sort of starting to fill in here, right? And let's go and throw in one more item here. I'll put in DVD player, and we need 2 of those as well. And those are, how much are DVD players now? $90? I don't know. Refresh. There we go. Something like that, right? So there's sort of a basic data table, right? It doesn't look very pretty, but the point here is I wanted to make sure that you understood the basic structure of a table, at least, in the beginning here. We'll get into more detailed stuff in just a bit, but that's the basic structure there for a table, and that's how it's looking there inside our code. So hopefully all good. Now, of course, there's lots to show you here with tables, so let's continue on with getting used to working with tables inside HTML.